officers and set to take the fall for the Battle of Salarishi Marsh. Our heroes found themselves imprisoned in the brig and awaiting trial. However, just as their luck had seemed to run out, old companions and the tiefling spellbreaker Alvissa and the halfling warrior Namar arrived to provide a desperately needed jailbreak. With the path of egress secured, our heroes set out to escape from Fort Lakefront and find their freedom at the end of an underground tunnel. Along the way, they meet the lizardfolk warrior Ganixka, who offers to guide them through the caves. After stumbling upon some ancient ruins with a dark past, the party emerges out of the depths to find a gnomish merchant who seems to be on a time crunch. Transportation secured, and with freedom in sight, things appear to be on the up and up. But with a long journey ahead, the question that remains is what will be in the future for our heroes as they travel to Tressilian, the city of stars. Hello and welcome back to A Little Light Adventuring. It's that time again to jump back into the world of Chalnora as our heroes head off to an uncertain future. I'm your Dungeon Master, Daniel, and once again, I'm joined by our heroes, Mark, Tyler, and Travis. Hey guys, how's everybody feeling tonight?
Doing all right.
Feel like a nat 20, baby.
That's the way to go. That is the way to go. Hopefully, we will be rolling well. So last week we escaped from Fort Lakefront, and you've gone AWOL. You met a merchant who claims to be taking you away from the battlefield. Probably a good thing, since the Teltrian general at the fort seemed to have it in for you. But, you know, y'all were probably in for a little bit of good luck after everything that's been happening to you recently. At least you hope. That's always the hope. All right. Anybody got anything before we get started? Any news or anything to make mention of?
Not me.
All right. All right. Well, of course, for those watching, if you like catching our episodes, we encourage you to click that thumbs up button, drop a comment for the algorithm, and smash that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know when our videos come out. As always, we'd love to hear from you. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's get ready as we head off towards the port of Tressilian. So as you emerge from the cave out onto the swamp, you come out some distance away from the fort, and you can still see it in the distance, but it's a pretty good ways back. Apparently the tunnels had led you a pretty safe distance away. You are now standing before the wagon of Acorn, the gnomish merchant that you left off with last session. And he seemed to be in a pretty much a time crunch. He explained to you that he was the leader of the Legendary Union for Commerce and Retail Entrepreneurs, or Lucre for short. And he's going to be carrying you to the port of Tressilian, courtesy of Offentangle and the Spellbreakers. So as you sit around and you're kind of taking this all in, Acorn, he's moving around kind of nervously. It looks like he's got someplace to be. And he speaks up. He says, yes, just come along. As I said, we are on a very tight schedule and have many miles ahead of us before our first stop. There's plenty of room in the back. And here Acorn kind of pauses and he looks down at this fancy timekeeping contraption that he has. And he just gives this surprise gasp. And he says, oh, dear. Yes, it would appear that we're already behind schedule. I'll have to recalculate our entire itinerary to adjust. Chop, chop, everyone inside the cart. I request that you make yourselves comfortable until we are able to get further from the fort, at which time you should be able to move about freely once we're a little bit further from those who are looking for you. So he sits back, he picks up his instruments, and it looks like he is ready to take some more measurements and some notes as he waits for you all to load up. And you are standing there before his covered wagon.
Where exactly did you say we're going again?
Yes, I've been paid to transport you to the port of Tressilian.
And did they give you any instruction as to what we're supposed to do there?
Well, it is a fairly well-to-do trade port. I'm sure that for some reasonably bright people as yourself can find something to do there. But if you don't have any plans, I suppose that I could put you to work for me, at least for the time being, until you get settled.
Lovely. I suppose we don't have much alternative at the moment.
Well, I mean, you could wander off into the swamp, but I since you do have people looking for you, I suspect that that would be highly unfavorable to you.
Does working with you come with, pay?
Well, of course. I wouldn't think of just making you work for free. That would be slavery, and I'm not a slaver. I'm a merchant. So, of course, I would pay you.
So
It wouldn't
glad to
be
hear.
much. Menial labor as I make contact with some of my business partners, but I would help you with getting settled in the city. It would be enough for you to find some lodging, find some food, and be able to settle down.
And how far is this journey exactly?
I will be traveling for about 2 weeks. That should take you sufficiently from the danger area and provide you with plenty of access for opportunities to travel elsewhere should you so wish to do so.
I should think so.
2 weeks.
Yes,
Hmm.
2 weeks. It's a
And
lovely journey. Trust me, once we're out of the swamp, it will be fine. It's all very idealistic countryside, the country of Delrin, very beautiful region.
Would you say so?
Now, come along. We do have a schedule to keep. Again, if you can, pile into the cart.
Very well. Benedict will hoist himself and his equipment into the cart.
All right.
Delphinium holds back for a second and kind of looks around confused. I'm meant to stay here and help the war effort.
I think it's safe to say that your efforts are no longer appreciated, madam.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to stay if you want, but I was under the impression that you all needed to be away from this place.
I've been waiting to get away. Let's go. I hop in the cart.
What do you think, Delpham?
She kind of looks back and scratches her head and says, "Well, I suppose we can travel there."
All right. So as you all climb into the back of the wagon, you find it loaded with several sealed boxes of varying sizes. They've each got different markings on them. There's also some cages with an assortment of eggs and exotic birds that would have been kind of familiar to you. They are birds from around the swamp that you would have seen. You aren't really particularly sure what Acorn has been trading in, but it would seem that he casts a very wide net in his business ventures. All right. So is everyone settled then? Are we ready to be off?
Ready as will ever be.
All right. So you find enough room to seat yourselves comfortably, and before you know it, you are on your way. As you travel, Acorn does try to converse with you a little. He seems amiable enough and willing to talk, but he does seem quite distracted. He's continuously making calculations on his instruments and making notes in his notebook, just trying to pass the time. Still, he doesn't press you for any information that you aren't willing to give, and you could probably have worse traveling companions if that were the case. So,
While he's rambling and looking at and doing his calculations, Benedict is just going to quietly cast Detect Magic.
you detect very faint traces of magic on some of the items. Not really anything that stands out too drastically, but there are a few things that have a faint glow to them.
What sort of merchandise do you deal in, Acorn?
Well, all sorts of things. So normally, when I'm to making this route, I'm carrying equipment and supplies down to the soldiers at the fort. And on my return trips, I make use of the surrounding environment. The swamp is home to many ruins and many archaeological finds. The ruins of Alcosia, the ancient lizard folk kingdom. They have many such artifacts that you can search for, also, mineral water samples for research materials. And of course, the birds that you see there, those are rare migratory species, very, very highly prized for their brilliant plumage and their eggs. Very tasty, might I add. But yes, I just bring down all of these things and carry them back with me on my return trip, just trying to make as much money as I can to make these ventures as profitable as possible.
Do I get any vibe off of his artifacts that reminds me of the temple we looked at, the creepy one?
Not really.
Okay.
The ruins that you saw before were very old, and these are at least, not quite as old. Maybe a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 years, by your best estimations. So nothing really that carries that dark, sinister vibe, I guess you'd say.
Have you ever seen this before, Acorn? And I'll fish out one of the crystals that I harvested from the cave.
So he turns around, and when he sees the crystal, his eyes widen, and he gets this kind of gleam in his eyes. He says, "Oh, I've never seen anything like that. Where'd you find it?"
I'm just lying about, I'm afraid, but I've not quite encountered its like before. I wondered if a seasoned merchant such as yourself had encountered it.
No, I don't think that I have, but it is very pretty. Is the glow natural? It seems to be shifting the colors. I would like to examine it closer if you'd let me.
Surely. And I'll hand it to him. Yeah, so the glow seems to be native to the crystal.
Are you handing the small sample or the large sample?
The small one.
So he takes a look at it and he starts turning it over, and he gets this very appraising look on his face. And he sits back and says, "Well, I'm not really qualified as a gymnast, but I can tell that these would be very valuable. I would be willing to purchase them off of you if you were so willing."
Mm, not for now, but I'll keep it in mind. I appreciate your offer.
Excellent. If you change your mind, you know where to find me. And if you could tell me where exactly you found those, I should like to investigate them very much.
It's not probably prudent. It was a rather dangerous area, I'm afraid. I wouldn't want you to come by any harm.
Trade secrets. I understand. I understand. I am a businessman after all. I see where you're coming from. Let you keep your secrets, good sir.
Thank you. Most gracious of you.
All right. So, any other questions? All right. So, you travel along by wagon for several days, heading in a northerly direction. Breaks, including meal times and the setting up of camp, are taken at intervals. And the trip seems to have been meticulously planned out by the gnome. If there's one thing that you really notice as you travel along, it's that he is very hyper focused on keeping precisely on time, precisely on his schedule. After about a week of travel, you make your way completely out of the marsh. And you can tell this because the ground that you're riding on becomes more firm beneath you. The worn ruts and the muddy earth that you have been traveling on, they resolve into a harder packed trade route. And at last, the stench and muggy wetness of the marsh seems to fade from your mind. Eventually, you enter into a deep forest. The road begins to run alongside a quickly moving river that goes back in the opposite direction to empty into the marshland. The sound of the forest and the rushing water provides a soothing backdrop for your travels. We are now entering Tavern Hollow. And the river that you hear beside us, that is the mighty Dagger Spine Run, the key tributary that flows through the heart of Delrin, granting it the lush green hues for which it is known. Acorn says as you drive along there. It's really a lovely region. One of my favorites. I'm quite fond of it, though a bit troubled, I think, in recent years with all the trouble with Tiltree. Uh, I, uh, we're going to this port after all. Do you have any plans? Or are you just planning to wing it and figure things out as you go?
In fairness, we weren't planning to be here at all.
I understand that, but you have to make do with what you have. Isn't that right?
So it is. Zephno, do you happen to have any contacts in this region?
And Zephno, you would be familiar with this area. This was a city that your acting company used to frequent quite often. So you would be very familiar with the town of Tresillium.
So, to answer your question, yes. Back in my acting days, we came through here regularly. Been there several times with my acting guild. Put on several productions in town. So yeah, I'm a bit familiar with it. I don't expect to run into anybody I know, um, but who knows? Who knows? But flying by the seat of my pants, Acorn. That's usually how it goes in recent years.
Well, we'll try to
Mostly
take care of
house.
you as much as we can. Once we get to the city, like I said, I'll have to make contact with some of my business partners, but I should have need of you to help me sell some of these goods that I'm carrying back with me. We should make quite a hefty profit, and I'll cut you in a bit on the profits that we make. Like I said, it should be enough to get you fairly well established in the city.
So the river that we're is the Dagger Spine Run,
That is correct.
and what's the city we're about to pass?
Tresillium. Still about a week or so away.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought we were stopping somewhere. I'm looking at the map trying to.
It would be closer on the western side, is where you're going, towards the ocean.
Okay.
All right. So as you continue on, it gets a little bit later in the day, and all of a sudden, Acorn is riding along, driving the wagon. He happens to glance down at his timekeeping device, and he realizes that he has not been keeping track of time as much as he should have been. And he just gives this horrified gasp. He says, "Oh, no, 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 no. We were scheduled for a camping break 5 minutes back. We should have already been well off the road by this point." And he begins looking around frantically, trying to find some place to pull off. He looks quite distraught for a moment until he begins angling the wagon towards a small break in the tree line. All right, everyone, off the road quickly now. Hurry, hurry, hurry. No time to lose. And
Why exactly are you in such a rush?
we're off schedule. We must get back on schedule quickly. Quickly. No time for questions. Come along. Come along.
I I can't understand why a journey that would take 2 weeks, being off 5 minutes, is such a hardship.
Look, it's not a matter of the why, it's a matter of making sure that everything has been planned out precisely according to the time frames. Like I said, we must get off the road. Come along, quickly, quickly, quickly. And he rushes you off the road, back into the forest a pretty good ways, the whole time acting very nervously until you reach a small clearing on the banks of the river that you were talking about earlier. And it's here that he finally seems to relax. And he says, "Ah, yes, this should do nicely." And he pulls the wagon into this clearing and comes to a stop before hopping down. Yes, we should make camp here for the night, I think. I apologize for the interruption to our schedule, but this location should provide us with the necessary amenities to rest for the evening and refresh ourselves for the journey tomorrow. I suggest you stay with the cart and begin making preparations for the evening meal. I will go gather some firewood. Yes, some firewood, and return shortly. And with that, he kind of wanders off into the forest, leaving the three of you alone for the first time since you started this trip.
There's
Well,
something
guys,
strange about
I
you.
being a man that has hidden several times in his life and continues to hide, this guy seems to be hiding from something on the road.
Yeah, something's off.
I've met more than my share of folks who just have odd ticks, but I admit he seems a bit peculiar even for that. I wonder. Well,
If we were just to take his cart and leave him here, I've thought that too.
it's quite the thought I had, but you're not far off. Keep an eye out for just a moment, if you would. I'm gonna climb in the cart and rummage around, see what I can find. See if he's hauling anything weird.
Roll an investigation check.
I
I told you this dice is cursed. That's a 3.
Yeah,
was
you
gonna
don't
get
find
excited,
anything
but
too
it
Killing
doesn't
it.
noticeable.
Killing it.
Don't find anything too noticeable. It looks mostly like the stuff that he described earlier. There are several boxes in there, and as you kind of move them around and look, it looks like most of them are either of an archaeological nature or scientific, but doesn't seem like anything that would be very suspicious.
Can I? Delphi would like to cast detect evil and good.
Okay.
Oh, can we assume that we've been able to get a long rest while we've been
Yeah,
traveling?
you've been traveling for a few days now, so you would
Okay.
have. Yeah, you can restore all of your spell slots and all the goodies, so you should be fine with that.
Okay.
All right. So you cast your detect evil and good spell. And as the radius expands around you, you get the readings from, Zephno and Benedict, and nothing really else. You don't really detect any other big concentrations of, alignments either way. And it seems that Acorn has wandered out of your radius. He's not within that 30-foot radius.
Well, there
Can
doesn't
I
seem
can I do an investigation under the cart?
Sure.
there doesn't seem to be anything in the cart that is particularly evil or wholly aligned.
I got a 15 for investigation.
So you get under the cart pretty well, and you're looking around, and it looks like a normal cart. You aren't finding any hidden compartments. I'm not sure how well versed you are on wagon design, but it looks mostly like the wagons that you've seen. It's got the
That's-
spoke, it's got the axle, 4 wheels, all the basics.
This guy seems pretty legitimate. I mean, he doesn't even have any smuggling compartments under here. Hiding anything.
He did say that he was not a smuggler.
I think he's
Well, that's what I
fairly.
would say if I was a smuggler.
I think he's anything but legitimate, but he might at least not be lying.
So
Well-
what's he so nervous about?
I couldn't begin to tell you. Maybe we should. Maybe we should heed him for the time being, though. Although I admit I'm worse than useless when it comes to arranging food, unless you enjoy the taste of black powder and oil.
No, I think I'll pass. What do we got to cook? I'll try my hand at it. I've cooked a few meals on the run, a few meals in prison, a few meals with ladies.
A myriad of
Mills, I
stories
guess.
there, I'm sure.
I could attempt to gather some vegetables or fruits around here if we could find
What?
anything growing.
Can I rummage through stuff? Does he? I mean, he's got food.
Yeah,
What's
he's
our
got some
options?
food supplies, mostly trail rations, nothing too fancy.
Nothing to cook, huh?
While they're looking into this, Benedict is going to rummage around in his toolkit and tinker a small device.
All right. And Delphi, you're going off to gather some things?
I thought I'd look around to see if I could find any thing to add to the meal.
All
Um,
right. So as you're looking around, you wander off a little bit into the forest, and as you're picking through, you're finding, some edible mushrooms, some berries, some things like that. That would be good for adding to the meal. Can provide you with a hearty meal. And at one point, you happen to glance up, and you notice leaning against a trunk of a nearby tree, an elven woman is standing there, dressed from head to toe in the dark leather attire of a kunoichi. She has a hood up over her head, and her face is covered by a black mask. But she stares at you from this tree that she's leaning on with hazel eyes. And while you're kind of gathering things, and she notices you, she's carving some type of symbol or some kind of something in a piece of tree bark. And when she notices that you've looked up and see her, she gives a little bow that indicates that she has recognized that you notice her. And at that point, she says, Lady Willowbloom,
do I recognize her?
you do not.
Okay.
She
I will.
is she is dressed up in a pretty, good get up to be disguised from being recognized.
Okay. I'll return the bow and say, I'm afraid you have me at a loss. You know my name, and I do not know yours.
Names are not important, but you can call me Scarlet Talon. I have been sent to hear your report on your experiences in the swamp. Tell me of this magic that you saw employed in the battle.
Well, there were some forms of amalgamations, um, flesh reavers. They were like bodies amassed together that somehow came to life, were animated, and moved against us in the battle.
Yes, we heard that they were fused together from the fallen.
Yes, it was quite terrifying, really, and
I am glad that you are safe from your battle. Can you tell me anything else of this battle that stood out in your mind?
well, I did find it odd that we were put into the brig so quickly after having hopefully helped to turn the tide of battle. And near to the battlegrounds, we discovered a an abandoned um, temple. I did not write that name down. Must be.
A temple, you say? We have
Yes,
no records of any such temple in the swamp.
Mm.
I didn't write it. I didn't write the name down. I can't remember.
Where did you find this temple?
It was in some tunnels
So it
that
was beneath the surface.
beneath the surface was to the god Illith. There were these black stones that one of my partners collected, but we didn't recognize.
So as you mentioned the name Illis, she gives this kind of hiss, and she makes a little symbol in the air briefly of protection. And she seems very interested in these ruins. And as she's kind of taking this all in, she finally gives a nod and she says, I would be very interested to find out more about these ruins. I shall inform the other Nightblades and we will investigate this fully. Do you have any questions for me, Lady Delphinium?
Only this, I am concerned about having left the Teltrian army, and I do not want to disappoint Our Lady, our Queen. But it seems my journey has taken me with two comrades in arms away from the battlefield.
And she kind of gives a chuckle at this, and she says, "What is it that you would think you would be disappointing our queen with?"
Well, she had charged me to learn more of this evil and to aid in the battle. And it seems I'm moving away from the battlefield.
I see. It was my understanding that she requested you bring humanitarian aid to the region.
Yes.
Well, I think that you will find that the need for humanitarian aid is everywhere. The war, as you know it, is coming to an end. Many soldiers will be returning home and in need of assistance. Help them where you can and keep an eye out for any additional oddities. We will try and take care of the rest of the investigations. And she pauses here for a moment and she hands over this tree bark that she's been carving in. And on it, you see a symbol carved into the surface. She hands this to you. She says, "If you should ever need protection, look for this symbol. I shall leave it as a mark and to let you know the locations that I am watching. Until then, I will be monitoring your progress with much interest." And with that, she begins to drift back into the forest and disappear into the shadows,
One
leaving no presence.
one last thing. You might look for there's an amphibian race near the temple. There was a guide that we used, Ganikska. He may be able to help you find the temple.
Lady Willowbloom! Lady Willowbloom!
And she'll go back to gathering.
Yeah,
Yes?
you kind of shout that into the forest, and you suspect that she is probably still close enough to hear, even though she doesn't make a response.
Definium,
Yes.
are you out here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm okay.
Oh, did you find something to eat?
Yes, I gathered some mushrooms and some berries. We ought to be able to make a decent meal of it. I found some herbs too.
Delightful. All right, well, we should probably get back.
Okay.
All right, so yeah,
Lead the way.
y'all make your way back to the
Go back
wagon.
to camp.
Can I get
Yeah,
a
head
fire
back to
started
camp.
before they get back?
During the time that they have been away, Acorn eventually comes back, and he is carrying some firewood with them. And he lays this down for you, and together y'all are able to get a fire going by the time Delphinium and Benedict return.
Delphi, Benny, how was your date in the woods?
Did you spend much time on that, Zephno?
Spend much time on what?
Benedict will just light the gauntlet that issues his fire bolts.
Oh, spicy.
I'll hand over the mushrooms. If you roast these over the fire, they should be quite tasty.
Yes, I do believe that I have seen these before in the forest. Would you mind helping me, Lady Delphinium? And Acorn seems much calmer now that he has returned.
Do we see anything different about him? Is he carrying anything different?
You could roll a perception check if you'd like.
I will.
This dice will let me down again, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I will lay my hand upon him and give him guidance.
Oh, good. Oh,
Going in the woods together, laying hands on each other.
now. All right. This still isn't going to be good. What did you say?
Perception.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad. 9.
Oh my!
Okay, yeah, you don't notice anything
I
out
told
of the
you this
ordinary.
dice is cursed.
Stop rolling it.
No, I'm gonna
Put
keep
it in
rolling.
dice jail.
I'm gonna roll it until it does that.
Dice chill.
I
Dice
believe
jail.
in it.
No.
Eventually, after you roll it enough, it will eventually come up with something good.
It's charging.
So with your guidance,
Probability.
Acorn is able to help you roast the mushrooms, and you're able to even get a little stew going from some of the things that he has prepared there. And y'all are able to have a pretty decent meal for the night before bedding down for the evening. You awaken the next morning and you're ready to strike camp and start off again. And this time, Acorn seems to be redoubling his efforts to ensure that you do not go off schedule again. So he is very meticulously checking his notes, checking his instruments, and ensuring that all the time progresses as he expects it to. You
Where did
travel.
he?
So
Where did you say he was going when he disappeared?
He
get
went off
firewood.
into the forest. Yeah,
To
he
get
said that he was
firewood.
going to get firewood.
Did he come? He came back with firewood.
He did come back with firewood.
Yeah. How
And an
long was he
evil
gone?
aura. No, I'm kidding.
He was
Um,
gone a little bit longer. Um, y'all stayed around and talked for a little bit, so he was probably gone a good 15 minutes and came back at some point after Delphi and Benedict had kind of wandered off to get some supplies.
so at this point, Benedict's going to activate his little tinkering that he made yesterday. So it will. It's just a little bit of clockwork that sits behind the bench in the wagon, and it just makes a tick like a mechanical watch. But it has been deliberately engineered to do it at random, so that it is not consistent at all.
So yeah, this thing starts going on, and as they y'all are driving along, Acorn, you see him start to just give these little ticks of his head every once in a while when it sounds. He says, what is that sound? Does anyone hear that?
No,
Here,
I don't hear
What?
anything.
here what, sir?
What do you hear?
It's like a ticking, like a clock or something. I don't know, but it's discordant. It's offbeat.
I just assumed it was one of your instruments. Perhaps they're broken. I could take a look if you'd like.
No. I will examine them. I will make sure that they are all functioning properly. That sound. No matter, no bother. Let's carry on. Is everyone ready to leave?
Of course, whenever you are.
Ready when you are.
All right. So yeah, y'all do strike camp and set off again, traveling along for a few more days. You pass through some towns of middling size until eventually you start making your way west towards the ocean. Zephno, you would be familiar with this area again, having spent some time with your acting company in the region. And because of this, you know that you are nearing your destination. The going is fairly easy, and you're making pretty good time. But on the 13th day of travel, during your journey, it's interrupted by the sound of some loud roaring and thrashing coming from somewhere off road. And it sounds like this injured pain cry from somewhere deeper in the woods.
Do I hear that?
Yes, all of you hear it.
What was that?
Something sounds. Does it sound animalistic?
Roll a nature check.
Seems pained.
It does seem pained. Yeah, you are getting that impression.
Hearing it causes me pain.
17.
Okay, so it does sound like some type of bird, some type of loud screeching, like a eagle or a hawk, but a little bit louder than you would expect a hawk or an eagle to sound.
And is the cart still moving?
It is, but
Okay.
Acorn has heard it too, and he seems a little bit distressed by that sound. And as y'all are rolling along, you hear it again. And again, it just sounds like this pained cry, this shriek coming from somewhere off the road. And Acorn, he kind of slows the wagon a little bit, and he says, "I'm not sure what that is, but we are running a little bit ahead of schedule today. Perhaps you should investigate it to ensure that the wagon is safe. I'll stay here and make sure that nothing happens to my goods or my wares. But
Yes.
just ensure that the path ahead is clear. That sounds like a good idea. Yes, correct.
I'm not entirely sure. What interest do you have in that sound? Do you know what that creature
I
is?
have no interest in the sound except to avoid it. It doesn't sound like something that I want to see.
Well, it sounds like some sort of bird. Um, if something's in pain, I'd like to help. But that said, I'm not at all surprised that Acorn likes to stay with the goods while we do the investigating.
I mean, no disrespect to your religion, Lady Delphi, but is it entirely necessary? It just sounds like a wounded animal of some sort.
Unless it's some type of vicious wounded animal that is in our way. We don't want to be hurt by it. Listen, if it'll make you feel any better, I will go with you and provide emotional support.
It will definitely not make me feel better in the least.
Excellent! Good. I will stay here with the cart then, and you shall go investigate.
Well, I hate to think that anything is suffering.
Oh, Zephno, would you care to weigh in on this?
What were we talking about? I like come out of the nap.
Yeah, and as you come out of the nap, that horrible pain
Yes,
cry just
Zephno,
screams
would
again.
you just agree with me? That
Oh, right. What Lady Delphi said. Obviously, we need to do that thing that she was talking about.
Pity's sake. All right, fine.
That Benedict doesn't
Yeah,
like.
yeah, I've got it. I'll remember this.
Acorn's coming with us, right?
Elves.
No, I think Benedict made it very clear that I should stay with the cart to protect the wares. We don't want anything to happen to the goods.
Oh, of course.
See, he agrees. Excellent. Very
Just
well.
curious of
Make
his life
sure.
and forces.
Be sure that you don't get hurt. Everyone, be safe.
That's easy for you to say. You'll stay with the cot.
All right. So he pulls the cart over. Everybody kind of hops out, and you travel for about 40 yards, a little bit deeper into the forest, and eventually you come to a small clearing, and you see a large griffin. And it is very injured. It looks like its left wing has been injured. It is caught in a hunter's snare of some type. The wing has this bear claw like trap snapped around it, and that is attached to a chain, which is further attached to a large tree stump and nailed there securely. There is the carcass of a goat nearby, probably what was used to bring the creature to this location and lure it to the trap. But it sits locked into this tree. It looks like there's about 10 feet of give to that chain. And as it notices you, it looks fairly aggressive. It snaps, it slashes the air in your direction and gives that pained cry again.
Oh, my poor friend. Just a moment. We can help you.
What? No, it's no threat to the cart. Let's go back and continue on.
It's hurting.
It's
I've never
dangerous
seen a
and likely to
griffin
cut you.
before. You guys been around one of these things before?
Not particularly. Do you want to be?
I was fine taking a nap in the cart, really. And here we are with a giant half bird thing.
Can I
Some
s-
Bird
idiot
half
has done
lion.
this intentionally. We'll probably be along to collect it soon.
Can I see how the trap releases?
Make a survival check.
I'm not very good at that.
I didn't figure you would be. Not usually a skill that most clerics train in.
I actually rolled pretty well though. It's a 16.
All right. So, yeah, as you're looking around, trying to keep your distance, because, again, this griffin is behaving very aggressively. There is a release on the trap, but to get to it, you suspect that you would have to find some way to get around the griffin and actually approach it. And right now, it does not seem very friendly.
How secure does the trap look?
It looks pretty secure. The griffin has been kind of testing it as you've come near. And, it's made several attempts to get closer to you, to lunge at you, and it just snaps taut. And it looks like it's holding pretty well.
So, we're gonna do what here exactly?
Well, I think that we ought to release the griffin and heal it.
If we release the griffin, what's the chances of it trying to bite our face off?
Well, there might,
Hi.
Yeah, it looks
might
very
be
high, at least
one,
at the
but
moment.
after I heal it, it ought to recognize us as friendly.
All
and-
right.
Can you
Before
heal
we
it
go,
first, and let's see if it looks any less like it's going to bite our faces off?
before we go touching the
Oh.
angry animal, let's try something else first. Back up for just a moment, please, if you would. And
What?
just
What?
bear with me.
Are you going to shoot
But
fireballs
you
at
ought
it?
to heal it first.
No, just trust me. Back up. Just if it doesn't work, then you can go heal it and get your head bit off, and I'll send a letter to the Elven Queen myself.
How do you know about that?
Testy.
Soon you all know the Queen. Not all elves like connected to society.
Do you know the king?
No,
Do you know the queen?
no,
So why would you assume that all elves know the queen?
because you all talk very annoyingly. Now,
I
please.
performed for the queen one time. Back in
What?
back in my good days, good acting days.
Just back up, just for a moment. Zephno, please help me.
Yeah, right,
But-
backing
Hey.
up. Yep, I take a step back.
Move everybody another good 30 feet away from this thing.
Is there
Alright.
anything you'd want us to say in the case that you have your
Like
head
right about there?
removed afterwards? Like
Do you have
maybe
any last
in
words?
a
Let
word?
me try this first. Okay, hold on. And I will cast Mage Hand, and I will send it over there and try to depress the mechanism that opens the trap.
All right, so you send your mage hand out. It glows in front of you and starts making some progress. And as it does, you hear a voice from deeper in the forest and says, "Well, now, I wouldn't do that if I were you."
I knew it.
And out of the forest, there stumbles a tall, muscular half orc that steps from the tree line some distance away.
Are you the poacher then, I assume?
Not a poacher, sir. I'm a hunter with a legal writ. We have been contracted by King Elor of Tiltree to clean this area of this vermin.
Vermin, it's an animal.
A very aggressive animal. That thing there would rip your face off in an instant, little lady.
Well, good sir, that sounds like something you've got to take care of there. So we're just gonna be on our way, and I turn and I start walking away.
Could I see the writ?
Ah, you would have to ask that, wouldn't you? Look, my foreman has it, and he's not here. We're waiting for him to return. Now, we don't want any trouble, and I'm sure that you folk don't want any trouble either. I would advise you to be on your way.
Well, it does seem to all be in order, Lady Delphi. How would you like to proceed?
Do you believe him?
I,
And you're okay with the suffering of this animal?
I don't think it will be suffering long.
Oh, it's not going to be suffering long. We'll kill it, pluck it, probably take it back to eat it.
What does Griffin taste like?
It's kind of gamey, part bird, part lion. Not really tasty, but I am a half orc, so I've eaten worse.
This is all very disturbing.
Can't all
Well,
live on
like I
mushrooms
said,
and
it's
flowers.
very legal.
You
Or
could,
sausages?
if you chose to. I want to cast yeah, Delphi's hands are gonna glow gold, and she's gonna kind of
Hey, what's she
almost
doing there?
like
What's she doing? I don't
Like
want to
she's
see no funny
pulling-
business.
I don't know.
Points at you.
as if she's pulling magic almost like from the ground, and she's gonna cast cure wounds.
What she don't heal the vermin.
We have
Leave
to
it
touch
alone.
to do that.
I'm sorry, she's a healer and she likes to heal and
And right,
there's no
healing
stopping-
word, because I have to touch for cure wounds. Healing word.
And this is a griffin. It will chew you in two if you give it a chance.
It's still chained.
But we aren't taking it back to a circus, little lady. We're taking it to kill it so it's not a problem anymore.
Well, I'm going to heal it to see if that makes it a little friendlier.
So before you can get your spell off, he says, look, like I said, we don't want any trouble, but if you're going to be difficult about this, he gives a little whistle, and you see from out of the tree line a couple of his friends appear.
Every time, mate. Oh, telekinetic shove. I'm
From
gonna try
which
to
one?
the guy talking. I'm gonna try to shove him toward the griffin.
All right.
I would do anything for love.
Do
What's
we
the
believe,
save on
But I
it?
do we
won't
believe
do
that he
that.
really has a writ from the king, or that is he just full of baloney?
You could roll an
Doesn't matter
insight if you
now.
would like.
Well, you didn't have to
Before he
go
gets shoved.
If he's really the hunter he says he is, I mean, he should be able to, hold his own against that griffin. Maybe.
All right. What's the DC if we're gonna do the shove?
15.
All right, 15 strength.
Yep.
All right, so you hit him pretty squarely in the chest, but he stands firm. He's a pretty stout sucker, and he just kind of grunts. And at that, he takes out this large axe, and he's like, "All right, boys, if this is gonna be how it goes, let's get him." So go ahead and roll initiative.
Just want it to be known, I didn't shove him. I just tried to heal the poor bird. Make it a little less angry at everyone.
Uh-huh.
I rolled an 8.
14.
21.
Good grief.
21.
Okay, we got an 8
Okay.
from Zephno, a 14 from Delphi.
No, that's me.
Okay, 21 from Delphi,
Yep.
and a 14 from Benedict. All right, so Delphi, you are at the top of the order.
Listen, we really don't want to fight you. I'm just concerned
Well, you should
about
have
the suffering of this animal.
Hey, shove me. You can't go around shoving people and expect us to be all friendly like.
What? He shoved you so you get an axe out? How is this? Does not seem like good.
There's a dangerous
conflict
creature behind me.
resolution.
He was very clearly trying to shove me into the path of that there beastie. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be buying it.
What you gonna do?
Well, Delphi, why don't you go ahead and heal that griffin and let's release him and he can deal with these hunters.
Well, then we'll just start off with I'm gonna just cast Word of Radiance.
right.
So hands glowing gold again, but this time it's not like coming from the ground like life energy. It's just, but let's see, it's 1d6 radiant damage for each creature that I can see. Must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. So it's a Con 12 save for all of them.
All right.
Are you hitting the bird?
No, not the bird. Delphi loves nature.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, I keep forgetting you're not a druid.
Nope.
She managed to make the only non-druid character.
Cleric of Life. All right. All right. And what was the DC that they were hitting?
Con 12.
All right. One of them is able to make it.
The rest of them fail.
Yeah, the rest of them fail.
4 points of damage to all of them that failed.
Well done.
Well said.
All right. So, yeah, your word of radiance burst out, this brilliant flash of light, and several of them, including the large half orc, kind of flinch back from it, taking some hits from that spell. But they respond in kind, a couple of them drawing their bows.
Great.
Mm.
And that one missed. And Benedict, we are to you.
Benny, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can.
Like, go back.
Guess not. All right. I will try to. How far can I do this? Oh, okay. All right, I'll try to telekinetic shove the same guy again toward the bird.
All right.
So again, strength 15.
Yeah, but he's not having any of it.
All right. And then I'll look to the guy to our right, the one down here. Down
Yeah,
here.
right out there.
I will firebolt him.
Do it.
13.
13 will hit.
Yay! Small mercies. And he'll take 9 points of fire damage.
Nice.
Crispy.
And then I will just move up into the center a little bit.
All right. So as you do that, one of the hunters here is going to advance on you. And he's going to swing and a miss. Nothing happening there. But the half orc he's also going to take out a dagger and fling that towards you. And it's going to catch you right in the arm.
What?
4 damage.
How much?
It's true. 4 damage.
Ow.
And as he does that, he's going to say, "All right, boys, y'all take care of it." And he's going to take off running. Yeah, he's not sticking around.
Coward.
I don't think we're going to get to see his writ.
No, I don't think so.
All right. So, yeah, he's taking off running down the road. And the last hunter here, he's going to step up a little bit closer, making sure to keep his distance from Mr. Griffin. A little bit further, right there. And he's going to take a shot at Benedict, and he's going to miss as well. So the ones that have approached you to attack have not done the best. Zephno, you are up.
I'm going to launch myself at this guy in the bottom here.
All right.
And draw my weapons from underneath my coat and do a little stabby.
Do it.
So, man. 2 10s. That probably doesn't hit at all, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Not this time.
But I looked really intimidating when I did it.
All right, Delphi, we are to you.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word on the Griffin.
Okay.
Let's see. So that's a 2 plus 5, so that's 7 points of healing.
All right. So as your healing magic washes over the creature, it's enveloped by this glowing white light, and you can see some of the wounds begin to heal noticeably. And the creature, which had been pretty agitated, does seem to calm down just a little bit as all this is going on. But you're not going to be able to do too much more since until you get that trap out of its wings.
Does he seem less aggressive?
Yes, he seems less snappy. Less snappy.
Benedict, try to release the Griffin.
Release the hounds.
Not sure that's the best idea. We'll see.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, it could eat you.
Could be fighting a griffin and hunters.
Yeah.
TPK.
I'm just happy to be
Alright.
part of this.
You
animal
have
rescue
anything
mission.
else? Are you making any moves, Delphi?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
That's my turn.
So as you do that, this hunter is going to take a slash. He drops his bow, pulls out a short sword, takes a slash at Zephno, and he is going to catch Zephno
Oh,
for 3 damage.
whoops.
Ouch.
That was dumb. Healing Word's a bonus action.
Oh,
Could have slipped.
Yeah, he could slip something else in there.
whoops.
All right. So the griffin at this point, like I said, it seems to have calmed down a little bit, but it's watching this guy over here pretty hungrily. It's looking like it's got eyes for that fella. And Benedict, you're up.
Just want to be on the record that this is a terrible idea. And I will re-engage the mage hand because it's still up to smash the open the trap.
All right. So yeah, you're able to send your mage hand over there, and knowing how the trap operates from what Delphi was able to tell you, the mage hand fiddles with the release mechanism, and it does pop open, and all of a sudden the spare claw trap releases, and the wings of the griffin just kind of flare out, and it gives another one of those horrifyingly ear-splitting screeches.
Pretty sure that was a terrible idea. And then I will telekinetic shove the guy who's trying to run away. Try to yank him toward me.
Okay.
So strength 15.
Nope.
Ah!
He's not a wimp. He does have a little bit of strength to him. All right. So, yep, not happening.
All right. I tried. That's all I got.
It was a noble try.
Was a noble try. All right. So, this one down here by you, Zephno. Oh, wait, no. The one up here by Benedict is the one that's going. And he is going to swing, and he is going to miss on Benedict. He chose poorly on the person that he was trying to attack. And this guy is going to continue on. He's leaving you in the dust.
Acorn! Stop that man!
Yeah, you hear back towards the direction of Acorn. You hear the startled cry, "Hey, who are you? No, stop! And you don't know what happened to your poor gnomish companion at that point.
I almost hope he took the wagon.
All right, so at this point, we have this one last bandit back here. He's going to step a little bit further Well, no, I'll tell you what he's gonna do. He sees that griffin get released. He's gonna head off too. He's not that brave. The others haven't noticed their fate yet. Yeah, he's not sticking around. All right, Zephno, we are to you.
Can I disengage this guy and use cunning action to take a dash towards the guy that ran away towards the gnome, towards our towards Acorn?
You can head back that way, but you suspect he's already got a pretty good lead on you.
Okay.
was
Well,
running
then I'm
pretty
just gonna
fast.
attack this guy. That's next to me.
All right.
I got a 16 and an 18.
All right, both of those do hit.
Okay. Well, let me roll some damage here then. Uh, 10 damage.
Yikes. All right, so yeah, you put a pretty good licking on him, but he is still up. Still up. All right, Delphi, we are to you.
I will cast Toll the Dead on the one that is in battle here with.
All right, over there.
Yeah.
Dong.
So, con 12. Save.
What's your save so low?
I don't know. Why's my save so low?
Yep, but he does save.
Ooh.
It was too low, so the toll does not toll for him.
Okay. Then as a bonus action, or do I want to do that?
Ah.
As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Zephno and give him +2 bonus to his AC.
Okay.
Nice.
Always useful. And probably a good thing, since the hunter who was over there attacking you is going to attack again. And he's going to miss.
Class is 17, yeah.
Yeah, that helps out. It does help out. So yeah, the other two haven't really noticed that the griffin has been released yet, but they are about to find out. They are about to have a little discovery. So the griffin, freed from its bear trap, it is looking pretty hungry, and it leaps across the distance, coming over there, landing right by Benedict. But Benedict, it does not have eyes for you. Oh no. It has eyes for our hunter friend. And it is going to just demolish this guy. I mean, it's going to leave a tiny bloody puddle where he stands for a total of 23 damage. Yeah, so he's no more.
Someone was hangry.
He met his end. We'll just say that. All right, Benedict, you're up. You now have a bloody mess beside you and a very hungry griffin.
Back up. Benedict will disengage for sure. And he'll fall back and stand in front of Delphi. And then just for insult to injury, he will try to telekinetic shove the remaining hunter toward the griffin.
All right. Okay, so what's the strength save again?
Strength 15.
And this guy is not as strong, and he is definitely getting shoved. So 5 feet?
Yeah.
All right. So not quite enough to get him in range, but well enough to make him aware that he is not in a very good situation. Zephno, we are to you. The Griffin currently is still pretty occupied with the guy that formerly was right there.
So, I'm open to suggestions. Do I need to try to kill this guy?
Back up! Back
Like,
up! Flee!
Yeah,
Flee!
I don't really want to get near that griffin. I'm gonna back up and start heading back to the cart.
All right.
I'm gonna tip my hat to everybody and say, "All right,
well, my work here.
good animal rescue, guys. I'm heading back."
All right. So you're using your full movement. Are you gonna do a dash? Are you going to truly flee? Because that's about how much you get to normally. I mean, that's pretty well. Yeah.
I think for him, that's the map.
All right. Yeah, good enough. All right, so Delphi, we are back up to you. The griffin that you healed is still focused on the carcass of the man that it has slain, and it doesn't seem to be looking at you at the moment.
I really want to walk up to it and do cure wounds.
Do it.
You're not a druid. You can't talk to it.
But I really think that's what she would do.
This is when Tyler realized that she wished she would have played a druid.
And my next character will be a druid.
Good, you'll be playing it later tonight.
And this is how the elf lost a hand.
Now I'll just cast healing word on it again.
All right.
Throw a little more health at it from afar. Don't have a total death wish. Some preservation. It's another 7. And then she will back.
All right. So yeah, you see the healing wash over it, and it kind of shakes the magic off of it as it tosses this corpse aside. The other bandit hunter guy that was here, he realizes that he is in danger, that he is in a lot of danger, and he's going to take off as well. And he's just going to run in the direction of you guys because, you know, sticking together and whatnot. All right. The griffin, though, much more movement. Having finished with one, he's just going to go after the other. All right, and he is going to. Well, it's not a total TPK. He gets him pretty low, but he takes a pretty good swipe at him with his claws, and that fella's not doing all right. Not doing all right at all. All right, that brings us to Benedict.
All right, Benedict's going to move around to the other side of Delphi here and get in between her and the thief guy.
Yeah.
Getting much closer to this bird than he wants to be. And he'll kind of grit to her. Back up more, maybe? And then just for the sake of it, he'll firebolt the hunter.
All right.
19.
All right, that is a hit.
He gets 8 points of fire damage.
All right, and you fry him good. He becomes a
You
very
cooked him for the griffin.
toasty,
That's so nice.
toasty hunter, and the griffin is very appreciative of his meal. All right, so yeah, as that last guy falls, the griffin just tears into him, and he seems, not to be fully focused on you guys, but griffins do have a taste for horses, and you notice that your cart has several horses attached to it.
Oh no.
Uh,
So
Perhaps-
what do you think?
I'm not going to stop
Yeah, we'll stop with the battle music for right now. So what are y'all going to do in this situation with this griffin kind of
Back
tearing into this guy?
away.
I'm back at the cart. Is Acorn there?
He is. Yeah, you've made it back to the cart, and Acorn, he looks like he's been roughed up a little bit. No, he's no worse for wear, but he does look pretty distraught, and he's looking over some of his equipment, some of the instruments that he had, and he's muttering to himself, "They took it. He took it. I told him not to, but he grabbed it once he passed. How am I going to survive? He took my weight. He took my weight, Zephno."
Yeah, I'm sorry, Acorn, but we've got a bigger problem right now. We've got that big bird lion thing over there that's going to eat us or those horses or something. He's got that hangry look in his eyes. We need to go.
Griffin! Everyone in the cart! Everyone, quickly, hurry!
You're seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, he straightens up pretty quickly once he sees that.
I jump in the cart.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're all in the cart.
All right,
ride like
so-
a wind.
Yeah, as the griffin is tearing into his meal there, the hunters who had captured him, you make haste. You make quite a bit of haste and speed past this griffin, hoping to find some safer locales. All right, so after a few minutes have passed and you're checking behind you, it doesn't look like it has followed you. So maybe the healing helped. Maybe. We aren't for sure, but we'll go with it. We'll give Delphi the win on that one. All right. So as you ride away from the scene of this horrible massacre that this griffin just inflicted, you can see that Acorn is still pretty distraught by all of this, and he looks at you and he says, "What happened back there?"
An entirely unnecessary kerfuffle.
It's not my fault you shoved somebody.
Who freed the griffin?
I did.
Why? Why would you free a griffin?
Because Delphi told me to. And the only reason we were there in the first place was because your inane idea.
But well, it was a griffin. It could have attacked us.
It was trapped. What did they take from you anyway?
One of my scales, my golden scale. It was given to me upon my graduation from my adeptness test. I'm very distraught, but I suppose there's nothing for it now. And you notice that one of his golden instruments that he had been using as he's been driving along and taking calculations is missing. So apparently it was a snatch and grab as the guy ran past.
My sincerest condolences.
Well, like I said, there's nothing for it. Look, let's just carry on, and hopefully we won't be followed. Someone watch the skies, please, and ensure that the griffin isn't descending upon us to ensure our untimely deaths.
It's going to be fine.
In fairness, I suspect it would eat the horse before you, but you know.
That is true. I am very small, not very tasty. Perhaps one of you would make a more suitable meal. Anyways, let's not worry about it. Let's carry on. Let's carry on.
Delphi made best friends with it. I mean, he healed all its wounds.
You
And...
know that
Don't
we
make
know it
friends
made
with the
friends.
griffin.
We only know it didn't eat us.
All right. So
I mean,
yeah, you carry on, and after after you travel for a pretty good ways, you're pretty sure that the griffin isn't going to follow you any further. Perhaps it took its revenge on the hunters and was content with that. So
Hopefully, it
you
got
get
that
back
door.
on your trip and resume with much haste. And after about 2 more days of travel, you finally see the city of Tresillian in the distance. It sits nestled against the ocean, the distant sands of the shoreline glittering like crystals in the light. And as he sees this, Acorn's had a little bit of time to readjust to the loss of his scale, and he's calmed down quite a bit. And he smiles. He says, "Ah, Tresillian, the city of stars, a beautiful city with so many beautiful opportunities to make money. We shall be entering at Walker's Square, and if you haven't ever experienced the market, prepare yourself. It is quite the wonder." And he says, "I have some business to attend to, but feel free to explore the market. Though I would advise not taking the initial offered price. It is an insult to the merchants to buy without haggling. Meet me back here in an hour, and I will have some work for you."
Oh, thank you. Acorn, one more time. What was the name of your guild again?
The legendary Union for Commerce and Retail Entrepreneurs. And yeah, y'all are free to walk around for a little bit and explore this market. It is a very large open square. It's fairly crowded today.
Benedict is going to look around for a blacksmith.
All right. Anybody else? What are Zephno and Delphinium doing?
I follow Benedict for right now.
All right.
I'm just
Zephno,
gonna,
you carrying on with the party?
I'm gonna peruse the
Sticking
market.
together?
I mean, I don't really have any money, but I'm just gonna do some.
All right. So you set off through the square, and again, you're amazed by just the colors, the sounds. The street is pretty crowded, and as you make your way through it, it's not necessarily the easiest to get around. And at one point, you get pressed pretty closely together. And everybody make an acrobatics check for me.
I am not nimble.
The
7.
19.
rogue got a 7.
I rolled really low.
All right. What about you, Benedict?
Really low.
10.
All right. So, yeah, y'all are pressed together pretty closely, and you feel someone bump into you, Zephno, and all of a sudden you just go sprawling, and you're sent reeling back, bumping into one of the vendor stalls, and there's some shouting. And then above all the noise, one very clear shout gets your attention very quickly. And you hear a voice say, "Look here, he's trying to steal from me! Thief! Thief!" And that is where we will stop for the evening.
No!
I didn't even get to steal anything. Man.
All right. So we will stop there and pick up next time. Again, we thank you for joining us. We hope that you've enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment. As always, we would love to hear from you, and check out our Discord if you haven't already. Again, we are Little Light Adventuring, and until next time, we are signing off. Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Not.
Thanks, Daniel.